All right, bud. Peace, peace, peace. My bad. Oh, what's up, girl? Oh, uh, guys, my bad. I'm my cat right there. Yeah. First and foremost, hopefully, most on your house is blessing all day. You know, it's night now, but shoot, it's still day. Day's not over, but by His mercies you are consumed. We're alive. Most on your house is abiding too, and naturally alive. And you know what it is too. I want to get into this because you know what? Actually, somebody like I know personally. Also, too, brother in the Discord app said this too, as well, man. Like, it was actually a good question. Like, and it was really for the brothers, and like really for the men, honestly. Like, well, it's it's really honestly for anybody. Honestly, we all should be like, whether in the word, out the word, man. Treat our people like anybody. But that's what. No, let's get this Romans real quick, man. You know, Romans chapter 12 and verse 13. I'm sorry, verse 8. It's a No, if no, that's not what I want. Okay, yeah. Romans 12 and 18. Yeah, honestly. Well, no, we could get both. It's we could get really three, but it's all good, all three verses. But we're gonna get Romans 12 and 18. If it be possible, as much as it lieth within you, live peaceably with all men. Exactly. Yeah, man. So that's it. All of our people, inside the word, outside the word, brothers and sisters, man. Verse 13, Romans 13, 18. Oh, no man anything but to love one another. For he that loveth one another fulfilled the law. Fulfilled the law, exactly, man. So, and that's just is what it is with that, man, too. Because the brother in the Discord app asks, and how he said, how should we, during this time period, how should we interact, how should we treat women, how should we interact with women, just in general with our sisters in general. Because he said how, the Western women, the mother goddess, divine feminine, Babylonian, worldly, or this this how our sisters are now, honestly, this is even us, how we are as people, or the men and women, honestly, is how we are as a nation and people, or even just the world, no matter what nation, how the world is now. But but even honestly, this how our people are, how should we react, interact with our women, man. And honestly too, I told him, listen, one you see, and he had put the how shy acted. It had a screenshot of what the word says, and it had good answers too. But honestly too, because I said it. Listen, it depends on the one, it depends on the the system, what in the word, out the word, their conduct, man. Honestly, too, because mostly. Honestly, man, most of the time for brothers, man, leave. Honestly, one, leave people alone. Honestly, because you don't know what the next person's mentality is as far as in that aspect. Not saying don't get to know people or live. Actually, no. It's actually good to one, just getting to know people, man. Just talking to people, or just even waving at people, even if you don't know them, man. Greeting people, all that things of that nature. That's one thing, but another thing too is but with that, just leave people alone. But especially for but in this aspect, since we talking about this, brothers, leave most of these women like that alone in that aspect, man. But honestly too, is a balanced thing to that, man, because I say that in the aspect because if we're trying to win, talk to sisters about the word or whatever, gain the soul. Of course, you had to have certain skill, with that. We have to have used skill and wisdom, honestly. We can't come, and I'm pretty sure y'all brothers and sisters seen this, because and we kind of seen this too, Shelter Brother sent me first one because he pointed that out too, and also too, I actually remember watching an older video a while back, some years ago, with the elder brothers from GMS said this as well, and they said this right as well, because a lot of times too, especially with brothers in the word, we might see been brothers out there, different camps, congregations, churches, or they might, or whatever, they might see a sister, a group of sisters or some sisters, they and see them how they dress or whatever, and they be reading the word, going to, and they say, oh, hey sister, why don't you have a dress on? Well, this is a time period. One, they're not in the word, and they don't know the Most High house shop for the most part. They might be Christian. They might be in the Christian or Christianity, Jehovah's, whatever, and other faith and spiritual fear, but they're not in the knowledge in the word. honestly, like that. And also too, it's kind of how a byproduct how the time period how women dress nowadays, and also too with their worldly, they're not like they don't because like the brother that sent me first one said was sometimes in the word even I'm guilty of this sometimes like I check myself on that we step to people we say to people like as if they know the Most High house as if they know the word like or as they should know how he operates and they don't, so that's why like that's where that Hebrews comes in as compassion and understand that those are without, because one you can't really do that like say like sister hey why don't you have a even if you're not in the word really certain way you should like dress and things of that nature like it is what it is, because even in the ancient world like even the prostitutes and the whores in the like that goes to show you that whores mentality too, like the brother sent me first one said, because the whores even in the ancient world and things of that nature they were dressed modestly. They were dressed as things of that nature, but they were still like it's the horrors of mentality, something that's inward. Because even if you watch even the Book of Clarence, right? They had the scene with the temple prostitutes, and they was dressed like you see how they was dressed in it. If y'all ever seen the movie, they was dressed like modestly. They had the dresses on things, and that's how and now of course like the word says like a woman with horse attire, but that even with that too like that's the thing too. Like they were dressed as them, but now we know. But on the natural side, we kind of know like that is what it is too. But we kind of can't come with that, like that, because you like say, oh, where's your dress on? Why don't you have that? Because I heard this before, but there's a lot of nuances to that. I can't just like say that too. But pretty much my point is you can't come with like condemnation honestly with that, because remember Yahushua wasn't moving like that, man. Like with the publican, because what you say the publicans and harlots can be and they can before you. Like honestly, that's just is what it is too. So yeah, like that's one thing too how we should interact, like with our with our sisters too. Also too with that as well, because here's and I said this too. Then now there's a difference, man. Because you got certain sisters like women that did boy in the word out the word. Honestly, you can tell they just don't know any better. Honestly, they just like and they and like the brother sent me first one said this one time. I've witnessed this in my lifetime too. You got certain times you got women that are whores, like or hoes to that nature, but they're actually in a way submissive in a sense, like they'll actually do what you say and things of that nature, but they just have a problem with lust, actually sexual lust, and like being loose with the loins and things of that nature. But I see it's rare. I've seen this though, like women that are like this though. It's like okay, but she just her upbringing and how she was like she was just misguided. She needs guidance honestly like that, but that's neither here nor there. Not to justify that, but there are women like that. I kind of seen a few of that in my lifetime, but also too, man, that's the thing too, that like you can tell there's certain sisters or women they just don't know any better, honestly. But then you have certain sisters, like this is really a people thing, but since we talk about this in aspect of that, you got certain sisters, you got certain women that they don't even want to know better. Like you could show they just want to be self-willed, they want to do what they want to do, honestly. Just like that's why he even compares us Jeremiah 6:2 to women, because like that's why you got certain people that just want to do what they want to do. That's is what it is too. So that's what people like you leave alone, man. Because whether you in the word out the word, like the brother of Chronicles Judah used to say, even if it's a woman in your life, in your family, or your loved one, or your significant, you shouldn't want to be going back and forth with a woman in general, like if possible at all, honestly. Especially with that, let's see, a random woman, no. Like going back and forth with a woman, like as far as that, no, absolutely not. Even the woman in your life, like no. That's just a big no as a man, honestly. Too, I need even to watch that too, because it's like, what. It's just is what it is, like no, yeah, because that's even sometimes when I watch that thing with my homie, like the old pop the balloon thing, because I think it's like we think it's an interesting case study, but it be sometimes on there with brothers, especially with the brothers. I'm like, man, just move on, man. She's not interested. Don't try to go back and forth, man. Just move on. Now sometimes they feel like they got to defend themselves, because sometimes they people. It's just both. If there's people on there in general that say disrespectful stuff, but a lot of times too, them women be popping fly on there too. So, but that's neither here nor there. But that's another thing too, how we interact like that. But also too, it was a sister, like it's actually somebody I know, like personally, that she could actually it was a certain like person that she was trying to do business with, and he was very disrespectful to her and rude to her and things of that nature. And two, man, and we about to get into in Tobit, honestly, like we gonna get into that, man, because honestly too, even though in like says Deuteronomy 28:2, or I like, and that's how I was laughable when it says, like, they say the Most High house shot, like God hates women and so, like, the Bible and this and that, because we about to read that too. And also too, waiting for our brothers, like, that's why the whole gender war thing is circular talk, man. Like, honestly too, even for brothers in the world, even like in the world, out the word too, like, I get it, like, with this stuff like that, like, more of this, like, even outside the world, natural tip, right, we're more of this, like, um MGTOW and red pill, things of that nature. And a lot of those times, those brothers, like, those, they do have a level of good advice and, like, knowledge and wisdom. I mean, knowledge and wisdom on there, or I mean, good points, I should say, honestly. But a lot of times too, like the brother Chronicle Judah should say, you could tell they're this, like, former quote unquote actual real Sims that got their heart broken. Sometimes you could tell, like, that's just is what it is, man. Because it's all about, like, the point is, it's all about really understanding each other's nature. That's why the gender war thing is kind of like circular, man. And it's like, it is what it is. Like, because one, we both are, honestly, because we both are not serving the Most High Yahweh collectively as a nation. That's why we are the way we are, honestly. And then really for the men, like, really as for the men, the brothers, it's just a reflection of how we're doing the Most High Yahweh, man. That's why it said that in the Amos that like, not that saying they like the Most High House is not going to punish these women for what they're doing. But when he said that in Amos, I will not punish them. It's an aspect of, okay, what you're seeing now with our men. It's going to be, as a collective, it's going to be a reflection of how y'all treating me, y'all husband, man. So it's just is what it is with that. So yeah, let's grab this too and Tobit too, man, because that's why. Even like, one, we shouldn't hate each other, honestly. Like, where we supposed to love all our brothers and sisters, man. And also too, like, even with the with the brothers here, man, we can't hate our women either. The scriptures never say that, honestly. Like, whether this, it don't matter who, like, we can't hate our women, honestly. Now, here's a different thing. Here's a nuancing thing to that, man, because a lot of times too, the women take it that the hate as is, we're correcting their conduct and behavior, or the not not even me or us, like, per se, like, it's really the word doing that. The Most High house shot, the word doing that. No, it's just correcting your conduct and your behavior. It's honestly for the men too, honestly, but really the women. That's why I think it's oppressive thing that nature. No, it's really most of the time, like, women and people that like women that say that, and even people that say that, man, they just want to do it their self will. They want to do what they want to do. They don't want an order. They don't want, like, standards, like, codes of conduct, like, that type of thing. They don't want that. Honestly, they just want to do what they want to do, and hey, you can do that. So this is what it is. But let's grab this too, man, because that's why I was laughing when they say that, like, that the word, like, say that hates women and it's like, no, it's not at all, man. It says Tobit chapter 4 verse 13. It says, look at this, man. It says this. It says, now therefore, my son, love thy brethren, despise not thy heart of thy brethren, sons and daughters of thy people, and taking the wife of them, and in pride is destruction, like Proverbs says, and much trouble, and lewdness is decay, and great want, and for lewdness is the mother of famine. So see that. So notice how it says, don't hate the despise not, like, the heart of thy brethren, the sons and daughters of thy people. Yeah, man. So we can't hate our women. Like, that's why when people say that the Most High house shot, like, the Most High, they were God, and, like, hates women or this and that, or, like, we got some other aspect go on the other aspect, like, that with the whole Deborah stuff, and in the word, and even outside the word, or people use this hat. I don't know. We got that's mostly sometimes with like people with agendas, things of that nature, or like that divine feminine mother goddess worshippers, or things of that nature, or like feminists or whatever, like that don't like the Most High house shot, like pretty much even if you say, like, and that also too, let me say this too. A lot of times too, brothers, like, if you, that's why I don't take it personally at all, man. Because if, like, you like the brother sent me firstborn said one time, if you run across a woman that says she hates men, one, it's really she really hates the past experience that she had with men brothers in her family in relationships coming up, where they might have been a victim of sexual assault or some type of abuse, whatever. Like, that's one thing too. And another thing, honestly, like, this is who they are. They just want somebody that's wants power and things of that nature. But ultimately, too, is they hate the Most High house. They hate the Most High. They hate God. Honestly, like that's is what it is. They hate that. So that's why when women that say that, man, like you can't take that personally, honestly, man, because they just hate the Most High house. They just hate God at that point, honestly, too. Because it's weird, because got certain women, no matter what area in the spiritual sphere, like in the knowledge, in the word, or in Christianity, Witness, Baptist, whatever, they'll hate men. They have a disdain for men, but they think they can go to the Most High, in your house, which is like asinine. Or acid 10, that's 11, as Skip Bayless used to say. But that's like us, honestly, men, going straight to moving Christ out the way, saying that's my father too. Going straight to move out the way, you house shot. We going. That's kind of equivalent to that. Isn't that? You see how blasphemous that sounds? But that's is what it is. I remember shout out to elder brother Judah McIntosh for making that point, man. Because yeah, man, that's is what it is though with that. But yeah, we're not supposed to hate our sisters, man. No. It's difference between we address her even for of course the brothers of course men, because it's not just thing even with that, this is our people. We're not supposed to hate do that, but we just address certain it's just really correcting, and it's kind of like what that title says, you rebuke or correct to restore them. No, because even the word does that, man. No, this is not hatred though. Because what did it just say, man? Honestly, like the brother y'all all saw, Sons of Thunder from Joel from Sons of Thunder said, man. Have y'all read probably even Proverbs, the wisdom Proverbs, Songs of Solomon, how he talks and dresses, well, a lot of it that's a testimony, the gospel witness testimony of Yahweh Shai, man, and that's a lot of it too. Just on a natural tip too, you see how he talks to women there, man. No, you don't shoot. You see even how the men here in the word treated the women. They didn't treat because it's too here's the thing. Let's grab this right. Because I was going to talk about this. I'm glad that situation that I heard about did happen today. And the brother from the Discord app did say this, because it's a good topic, man. Because you know what? Let's grab this too. Ecclesiastes. Where's that? He that get a boy again. Okay, where is that at? Okay, I can't. I haven't read it in a while, but when it says Ecclesiastes, he that getteth. Oh yeah, here it is. Ecclesiastes, also on the right, chapter 36, verse 24. He that getteth a wife getteth a possession, and help unto himself, in a pillar of rest. Exactly, and this is really spiritually, gospel-wise, testimony-wise, talking about Yahweh Shai being in His image. Honestly, that's just is what that on that tip. But on natural tip, man. Somebody will read that and say, "Oh, possession, I ain't going to which," because here's the thing with that, right? If you have a possession, ain't you gonna take care of it? You ain't gonna treat it any type of way. That's why even the word says, don't give your wife an evil lesson, or hate, don't hate the wife, don't be jealous of your wife, man. So yeah, that's we're not supposed to hate our women. So that the word don't teach that, man. So it is what it is. But people wanna that self-will that want to do it, they want to do. They're gonna use structure and order, as it's a form of oppression to them. It's really it's oppression to their own self-will and their own lust and their own desires, what they want to do. That's just what it is. That's what anything, men, women included. But that's neither here nor there. That's why he compares Jeremiah 6:2. He compares us to a woman. But anyway, man, that's just what it is with that, man, too. And also too, honestly, what was I gonna say with that? Yeah, man, that's just he that giveth a wife getteth possession, man. That's just yeah, man. Once you want to take care of that, man, you don't want to even if you read the Oxford translation with in 1 Samuel 25 to people that say what's going all that stuff, like, scoffing things that nature, talking about all suppressive and this and that. Because even if you read 1 Samuel 25 in the Oxford translation, Abigail says to David, "I'll be a slave." But not only that, but see, it's not only, see, that's the thing too. It's not just a gender thing. It's really a most high household order. It's in different capacity, order, and structure, their will type of thing. Because even in Genesis, in the beginning, after Joseph and his brothers reconciled in Genesis 50, they said to Joseph, which is their younger brother for the most part, they said, "Listen, we'll be your slaves." Honestly, that's just is what it is. Like, so it's just like when the scriptures tell like women to be quiet, it tells men to be quiet too, especially men of my age range. Like, when you're around older men, true. Sometimes this is me personally. Like, I'm pretty sure y'all brothers as well. Like this, whether in the word or out the word, like there's a level of respect we want to have. Like, if I'm talking to older men, whether more importantly, how much more in the Lord that's in like, that's in the faith. Like, no, even sometimes, even out the word, man. Like, that's some in general, like off of GP, off of principle. I'm not trying to dominate the conversation. This is an older man. Like, I'm gonna give him his respect, man. Now, the age isn't always wise. Well, we know that. But even if it's an older, like, a foolish man, like a whack 100. Well, if it's whack 100 type. But even in that, it's a certain level of respect that you're supposed to have with that. But so. That's is what it is with that too, man. So that's another thing. But also too, bro. Brothers have to realize, man. Like, we live in a different time period, different society now. Like the women in the ancient world, even the women in the past that grown up, like, they're not. It's not coming back, man. It is. So we just gotta adjust. That. That's what, man, we had to do. Adjust accordingly, man. That's what it is. So yeah, because all those, like, and also too, like the Brother Chronicles of Judah used to say, man, like, there's still a lot of good women out here, man. But it's like the Chupacabra, the Loch Ness Monster, or the Bigfoot, the Yeti. Like, it's hard to find. That's why Proverbs 31 says that. Like, but it's whether they in the word or out the word, man. But it is what it is, man. Because yeah, man, that's just is what it is, though, man. But hopefully, because my stepmom is a woman that comes in my mind too. Like, as far as like, good woman, man. But anyway, man, like that's just is what it is. I love my. That's not saying I don't love my mom too, but I just really, because with my dad, she's been great. They've been great for like a decade plus now. Like, it is what it is. But anyway, yeah, man, that's just is what it is, though, man. Like, and that's why let's read this Tobit again, man, because this is a misconception, man. Tobit 14 and 13, man. Like, like Deuteronomy 28 says, well, we're not supposed to we're not supposed to have a hate or have an evil eye to our brothers and sisters, man. Because a lot of times too, like, especially when like the brother, shout out to brother Kwame Call and Shalimar said like a lot of times too, especially when us come in the word, like, especially like, as men when we come to word, you feel like cause honestly a lot of times too we are like, my father was in now in my life, or some brothers didn't have their father in life, or any like few male like figures in life. Now we read this and we got sense of like manhood and power back. So now it's like we can sometimes turn in a sense to kind of like, even I was guilty of this to a degree, honestly. You could, and again, first getting the word, you could turn a Bible version of those red pill and make child people, man. Like, and not saying, and let me say this too, because sometimes what they're saying, like, those are points that certain times those brothers make. Like they do line up with the word, honestly, but sometimes it depends on what spirit it's coming from, man. Because and that's is what it is. But sometimes you could come, especially coming in the word, you come a version of that, and now you could talking to women all crazy and doing this and that, and like, no, man, it's still a level of respect that you're supposed to have for anybody, man. But I was going to go into that, man. Tobit 4 and verse 13. It says, "Now therefore, my son, love thy brother, and despise not the heart of thy brethren, and sons and daughters of thy people, and taking a wife of them, for in pride is destruction, and much trouble, and lewdness and decay, great want, and for new lewdness of famine. Lewdness is mother of famine." So yeah, and I get it too, especially like and for brothers, man, I get it, especially with the state of our women now. It's I know it's just really upside down and it's really bad, honestly. But it's all prophetic, honestly, too. But I get it, and especially on the East Coast, but especially in the Western, honestly, but especially on the East Coast, man. Like, but you gotta understand this too. Like the brother sent me first from said, and like honestly, space, especially being in a metropolitan and type area, Philly, New York, New York, Philly, like DC, or well, I don't say DC, Boston, pretty much in the East Coast. Sometimes their areas, man, like the women act all like um, you know, masculine things of that nature. Like it's really a survival mechanism, honestly, too. Like that's just now part of it is their unruly, like disrespectful conduct and behavior. That's part of it, but also too, I get it from that standpoint because it's a jungle out here. So a lot of times too, that's why what like other brothers like myself, like other brothers like my actual brother, like and my actual blood brother, and also brothers I know, when they in the word out the word, say a lot of times too when they talk to women from different places, or it's even sometimes overseas, it's different because it just is what it is. But especially, I'm just saying for the East Coast, like in this metropolitan type of area, it's like a jungle. So that's why New York and Philly, and even like got brothers in Chicago, like or other they kind of they had to be that way in a sense, like well. They don't have to be that way. No, let me say it. They are that way in a sense because it's jungle. It's like a survival mechanism. Because once you start to get talking to them, it's like, all right, you're not really like that, man. Because like the brother sent me first one said, a gangster chick or a chick that's actually about that, she won't be like that anywhere. But most of the times, it's just a facade with these women, and because it's a survival type of it's a survival type of mode that they're in, honestly. But honestly too, but then again, that's prophecy how like now the women want to be men and the men want to be women. It's all like discombobulated. But but that's all going to forsaking the Most High house, like word, his faith, and like in in his instruction, man. That's what it is. What it is. That's why the world's gonna be in disarray. But yeah, man, I just wanted to talk about this. Kind of dragged on, my bad, y'all. But I figured this is a good, like thing to talk about, man. Honestly, because we was gonna go. I said we was gonna go to something else, but I want to talk about this. I wanted to address this too, man. Because yeah, man, we can't hate like going to that with our sisters now. Even like when we're on here, man. Like I like even if because the whole gender war thing is a circular talk, but it's certain times like I might address certain things, man. But it's not like it's more of an observation or like or the word aspect of like things with when talking about women, honestly. But for the most part too, like it's already that Jeremiah 6:2, because most of the time it's like the like it's like really that's why I see why the Most High House compares us to women and children, man. Because like what the like know our people act, you had to know the conduct of them, man. But it is what it is, man. So hopefully it's edifying. So peace.